Manchester United play Copenhagen tomorrow in a must-win game if they want to get out their Champions League group. What is the squad news ahead of that? What's the latest on the injury news like Malacia, Luke Shaw? What's the latest on the Man United squad? Why isn't Kobbie Mainoo in it? And more. We'll be talking about the Manchester United starting 11 versus Copenhagen, doing a preview to that game. But before we get into that, we're going to be rounding up all the latest Manchester United news. Garnacho will no longer get a ban. And obviously the takeover, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is set to finalise a deal in the coming days, coming weeks, to get a 25% stake in Man United. And Qatar have kind of come out with a final message to confirm, essentially, they're not going back in, but Sheikh Jassim is still a United supporter. So let's get into all the Manchester United news, takeover news, updates and more. Please do hit that like button, subscribe down below if you're new, share the video and all of that good stuff as well. And I just realised I am on the wrong slide. Here we go. Orders restored. So, Qatar's final message. Let's dive into this first of all. Sheikh Jassim remains a supporter of Manchester United and wants them to be as successful as possible despite failing to agree a deal to buy the club from the Glazers. There's no indication that Sheikh Jassim will reconsider his bid for United. This is confirmed by Sky. I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks. As much as there's lots of rumours that Qatar are going to come back in and Qatar aren't out now and Jim Ratcliffe's deal was delayed, I've been saying, look, from what I'm hearing from reliable people, Qatar are out, it's over. They had no intention of coming back in once Romano announced it's over. There's a lot of not very good sources saying Qatar are coming back in, but I think Sky Sports have basically confirmed this. The final message on Qatar is Sheikh Jassim is still a United fan. He wants them to do well, but he's not agreed a deal to join United, and it is going to basically Ratcliffe. There's no indication that Sheikh Jassim is going to come back in for a last-minute bid. I think it's more enough Ratcliffe's now. I don't think we'd be getting all this news about Ratcliffe finalising a deal in the next 2 weeks if Qatar was going to come back in. So I'm pretty sure that is the end of Qatar. Now, talking about the UCL game, what is the travelling squad? No Kobbie Mainoo. There's Anana, Bayendir, Tom Heaton in goal, Delot, Johnny Evans, Lindelof, Maguire, Reguilon, Varane and Wan-Bissaka at the back. The back line still missing Luke Shaw and Martinez, but we're starting to get our back line back here. And then in midfield, we've got Amrabat, Eriksson, Bruno, Hannibal, Scott McTominay, and Mason Mount. And then in attack, we've got Garnacho, Anthony Forson, Højlund, Mount and Pellistri, Marcus Rashford. Amad Diallo is not back yet. Forson in the squad, which is an interesting one, but I don't think he'll be getting many minutes. So what is the injury and squad news ahead of the game? Because this is now your Copenhagen preview. Malacia and Ahmad are expected back after the international break. Luke Shaw is expected back more in December. Martin is expected back in January. However, there's an expectation he could potentially be back in December. But because United risked bringing him back last time, they don't want to take that risk again. And Mainoo is playing youth games to get a minute. It was said that Kobbie Mainoo is in the under-19 squad for the UEFA League fixture against the same opponents. Kobbie Mainoo was training with the Man United squad and will play for them on Wednesday afternoon as he's eased back into action following an ankle injury. I saw someone complaining, Sat Tenag, the idiot, not bringing Mainoo in the squad. Mainoo's should leave United for his own good, all of that. Complete overreaction. I get it. I want to see Mainoo. I want to see Mainoo play, but he's an 18-year-old that's never played a Champions League or Premier League game for Manchester United before, who's not kicked a football properly in 4 months. You want to rush him in an important game like this. Ten Hag sees this as an opportunity to get more minutes back in Mainoo's legs, get him back to fitness, playing him in the youth games. But Ten Hag had him in the squad that, at the weekend. Ten Hag plans to integrate Mainoo. He played him a lot in pre-season, but this guy's had an injury. He's not experienced with the first team either. Pre-season, Ten Hag's hope was to ease him in early into the season. Mainoo's not going to come in and completely change the squad. Mainoo's going to improve us. Mainoo's got a lot of capabilities that's massively going to improve United. He's a fantastic player, and I want to see him in the first team. I want to see him get minutes, but we've got to be patient with him. He's got an ankle injury. You don't want to rush him back, but we want to get minutes in him. We want to get him to full fitness, and doing that with the youth team, I understand it. I think that we need Mainoo. But at the same time, it's probably important for him to get those minutes with the youth team if he's not going to play in the first team for just yet. But I think he will be playing soon. So there's a bit of outrage about that. Personally, don't get it. Before I get into the starting 11, I just want to get up some transfer news here. Juventus are looking at Jadon Sancho. A lot of sources saying Varane is set to leave in January, but it is bad sources. I think it's fake for clicks, so I couldn't even be bothered to write out the source's name. I think that, there's that speculation about Varane, his future, and I think it's very lazy journalism to just go out and say, yeah, you know what, Varane is leaving Manchester United in January, la-di-da, la-di-da. And then there was obviously reports of Garnacho getting a ban for United, which could have been 3 matches, could have been 7 matches, but the FA have decided not to take action on that, which is good. Anana spoke out in solidarity with Garnacho. He knew what Garnacho meant. Garnacho apologised and he clarified that he didn't mean anything harmful by his tweet in regards to Onana. So Garnacho will not be getting a ban, which I am very relieved about. Now, how should Manchester United line up versus Copenhagen? How would you line up Manchester United? Let me know that down below in the comments section. But we're going to get into my lineup for United versus Copenhagen and then what I think Erik ten Hag will do. So, obviously, in goal, I'm going with Onana. I know that he cost us in the first 2 Champions League games, but then he saved us in that final one. And at right back, I'm going with Wan-Bissaka for just the stability there. And left back, I'm just going to go with Dalot. I think Reguilon's been good, but I think just ten Hag personally just favours Dalot. I know Dalot was really poor at right back versus Newcastle, but he had a solid game at left back the other day. Put in a few decent crosses. And then my centre-backs, look, I think Jonny Evans has been fantastic. I've been really, really happy with the performances Jonny Evans has put in. I wouldn't say fantastic as in, wow, he's been amazing, let's keep him, let's play him. But from what I expected from Jonny Evans, like we always knew he was a good centre-back, but it wasn't the signing United should be making. But he stepped in, he's done a solid job. He's been better than Lindelof this season. But we're going with Varane and Maguire at the back. This is Champions League Varane. This is the Champions League. If Varane doesn't start tomorrow, then I'm sitting there going, you know what, I am generally concerned about Varane. I know Amrabat hasn't been amazing, but I think he's been better than McTominay in that 6th role. It's just that McTominay's getting the goals, and that McTominay will probably play because now McTominay's scoring, ten Hag won't drop him. But I would play Amrabat in that 6th role. I'd play Mason Mount dropping deeper next to Amrabat because I think we got better when Mason Mount came on because he had the legs. However, if it's not working, Eriksen comes on at half-time, as always, because look, Eriksen, when he starts the United, in my opinion, poor. Eriksen can only play 1 game a week and 45 to 60 minutes a week, and then he just doesn't have the legs. And he's not good in games where you're not going to have much possession. You need to do a lot running off the ball. If you've got a game where you're going to dominate possession, you need control, and there's someone that's going to come on for 60 minutes and help with that control. Eriksen is your man of the match contender. He is your performer. He is brilliant in those games. And Copenhagen, I think, will be one of those games where we'll have a lot of possession. I'd assume we'd have control, however, away from home. Big question marks around it. But the big question is, how will Eriksen handle that? I would start Mason Mount. I thought we got better when Mason Mount came on in those final minutes versus, of course, Fulham. We obviously got the goal. He just brought a bit more energy, a bit more life to that midfield, which was really struggling. And I don't want to see Eriksen, McTominay, Bruno midfield because I do think it struggled versus Fulham. Well, technically, Bruno actually played as a right winger, didn't he? So I kind of want to see Amrabat, Mount, and then, of course, Bruno in that central role. Bruno got a goal while he's in that central role. I don't want to see Bruno on the right. And you know what? I want to see Pellistri again on the right. I almost put Mount on the right-hand side and Eriksen in there because I think Eriksen defensively provides more balance with Amrabat. However, you know what? I want to see Pellistri on the right-hand side. And the reason I want to see Pellistri is because he's very hungry, he's very eager to get stuck in, he has that defensive work rate, and he likes to take on his man and make things happen. And I think when we're not building up through the midfield very well, when we're not playing good football, when our attackers aren't in form, and you know, you might as well give Pellistri a run in. Of course, Rasmus Højlund is going to be my striker. You might as well call him Champions League Rasmus Højlund because in the Champions League, you can't stop scoring, but in the Premier League, he gets no service. And I don't know if Rashford is 100% fit. And you know what happens when you play an injured Rashford? He gets injured even longer. He gets even worse. I would rather start Garnacho in this game and take Rashford off the bench if we need him. Garnacho had a good game. He needs some more minutes. He doesn't deserve to be dropped. I think that Rashford does probably deserve to be dropped on current form. But also, if Rashford's not fully fit, let's not risk starting him. Let's just take him off the bench if we need a goal for Pellistri or Garnacho later on. So that would be my starting 11 for the Man United versus Copenhagen game. I'd assume that probably Rashford would start. And I wouldn't be totally surprised if we almost see this front three from ten Hag, if Rashford starts, maybe trying Garnacho out on the right, or even trying, of course, Rashford out on the right, or see Bruno out on the right. I mean, I've showed you my 11. I think Erik ten Hag will probably do something like this, where McTominay will play and probably swap him deeper with Mount here. I think ten Hag will do something like this, which is personally not what I want to see. I want to see Pellistri, I want to see Garnacho. I don't really want to see McTominay. I know that he scored goals, but I just don't think he adds enough. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching today's video. That was a roundup of the latest United news and a bit of a preview ahead of Man U Copenhagen, which is literally a must-win game tomorrow. Of course, I will be doing a watch-along and match reaction to the game tomorrow. There will be a live stream tomorrow morning. I do apologise, no live stream this evening, but I'm out. And to be honest, there's not loads and loads of news to get through and discuss anyway. But I do want to thank everyone for watching today's video. Please do hit that like button. Please do subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.